Joining me now, we have Brendan Ballou, former federal prosecutor and founder of the Public Integrity Project. Brendan, welcome to you. So the DOJ has taken any antitrust concerns off the table, though there are still some ongoing challenges in California as well as in Europe over this merger. Do you expect this deal to overcome all the legal hurdles, and does it raise any First Amendment concerns for you?
I don't want to make any guesses here, but I want to make extremely clear that this deal is very far from being done. And I used to work in the antitrust division of the Justice Department. So as you said, DOJ may have cleared this, but the states have not. And state attorneys general have an independent authority and ability to bring cases under federal antitrust law. And all the reporting indicates that they're doing a serious investigation and plan to do so. There are all sorts of other ways in which this deal in particular raises legal concerns, whether you're talking about the really shady reporting about the Ellisons promising to make, quote unquote, sweeping changes at CNN and potentially firing anchors that Donald Trump doesn't like, and then shortly thereafter getting regulatory approval. Those raise concerns under our securities laws. They also raise concerns under state laws, like California's unfair competition law, where private plaintiffs can potentially bring cases. So I think it's really important for people to understand that this is not a done deal yet.
Would a non-Trump DOJ greenlight this deal?
I think it's tough. I doubt it. And I'll get a little in the weeds here. One of the core problems that you have with this is the merger of, the last of the two big movie studios. So you are just going to see fewer movies in theaters next summer if this sort of deal goes through. The other thing that you have is what's called monopsony power. So the idea that you're not controlling the output of the company, but the input, the people that work for it. And when you see consolidation like this happen in the entertainment industry, it's going to be harder for directors, producers, PAs, scriptwriters, and so forth to get jobs. When you see that kind of contraction, that also is an antitrust harm, and it's the kind of thing that would get challenged by a different kind of Department of Justice.
Let's talk about what happened with this week, the judge having blocked the lawsuit that you filed on behalf of two Virginia residents over the UFC fight tomorrow, which argued such a volcano of corruption, if allowed to go forward, will mark an inflection point in American history. So the judge ruled Friday that the plaintiffs failed to establish both a substantial likelihood of standing and irreparable harm. UFC President Dana White remained defiant last night. Take a listen.
Listen, the show goes on Sunday no matter what happens. I'm sick and tired of hearing about the weather now and all the other surrounding this event. We are fighting on Sunday night on the White House lawn, no matter what.
So the fight goes on. Do you, Brendan, respect the judge's decision?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've appeared in front of Judge Mehta many times. He is an extremely thoughtful judge. And while we disagree with the decision, we respect it. Just a little bit of inside baseball here. The challenge that we had was we didn't want to bring a case until we were absolutely certain that the UFC was completely in charge here, not the government. And that revelation happened on June 4th. We brought suit 48 hours later. Judge Mehta ruled, well, functionally, that's too late. There are other equitable interests on the other side that have moved along too far to stop a fight like this. But I'll also just say, in a broader sense about both how we as an organization think about our legal strategy, but how I hope other organizations in the pro-democracy, anti-corruption world think about these things, is we have a very high risk tolerance here for bringing cases, not because we don't think that these cases are meritorious, and we absolutely think that we're right on the merits, but the law in America really wasn't designed for the extraordinary level of corruption that we're seeing in the current moment. And so the common law needs to evolve, and it's going to do that by bringing cases like this over and over again so that we can develop it so that it actually accounts for, just like we said, the volcano of corruption that we're experiencing right now.
Extraordinary. Let's take a look at some of the images of ads appearing on the White House lawn. There is beer, crypto, nicotine pouch ads, and they're all inside the claw there. And you took issue with the branding at the event and UFC's broadcast partner, Paramount Skydance. So what are your concerns about the branding?
Yeah, ultimately, we have any number of laws that are trying to prevent our national parks and national monuments being used for-profit corrupt endeavors, which is exactly what's going on here. The UFC, which is very closely allied to Donald Trump, stands to make a lot of money from its branding, not to mention the $1.5 million individual sponsorship packages that it's selling. Donald Trump stands to make a lot of money here through the stock that he has invested in UFC's Paramount company. And then, as you said, Paramount, which is allied to the president, stands to make money through the exclusive streaming rights here. So this is, just sort of a literalization of the corruption that we're experiencing in America right now, where you literally have sponsorships that the president and his friends are going to benefit from at our national monuments. My concern is that is really going to change how Americans think about the White House and think about the Lincoln Memorial for years to come, unless we are able to stop events like this from happening in the future.
Brendan Ballou, it's always good to talk with you. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon.